All right, boys and girls, ladies and germs, all that good stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about the state of racing games right now. There's kind of a lot to go over, so there's going to be some time segments. If there's something you care about more, go ahead and skip to it. But I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed in the meantime and watch the whole thing. It would help me out in getting this channel built faster and overall watch time, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's dive in. So first one we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about the Carx Street update. I hate it. There's been a lot of positive reviews for people on wheel, and I don't like it for a lot of reasons, okay? The biggest thing is all of the sudden, whenever I hit a curb, whenever I take like certain angles for like a drift, or even just normal driving, right? I hit these incredibly sharp oscillations or like really sharp reactions from my wheel. And like I can hear it, like, because I keep one headphone off of my ears, right? I can hear the wheel it's just this weird, like ear-wrenching, like chalkboard quick noise, and it is just awful. And it just feels like I heard somebody say, like, on controller it feels like Carx Drift, right? And so I re-downloaded the game to give it a shot and see like if I was correct or not, or if that was correct or not. And I can't speak for controller because I haven't tried it, because I was just trying every setting under the sun to try and get that to stop, and I couldn't. And it does after re-downloading and trying Carx. I thought it was a software issue, but I was wrong. There is something within the update that they fixed, whether it's the tires, whether it's whatever firmware cleanup they did or physics they applied. It makes my wheelbase feel like it's going to break any second. And I know it's not, because I use SimMagic wheelbase and wheel, and every other game I played, this doesn't happen. So I'm not sure what they did, but they need to either make previous settings available or fix whatever is broken, because I am, like, after this session, I am not going to be playing Carx Street for a while. Like, whenever there's an update, I'll hop back in. I'm not uninstalling the game. But it just feels so bad to attempt to drift and drive on it, because it is such a beautiful game, though. And that is the hard part about this, is it is a beautiful game. I feel like they've got a lot going for it, 100%. And if they're shifting their focus to controller players, great, have at it. It is going to ruin the experience for anybody on wheel, though, I think. And maybe I'm the only one with this problem, but I cannot imagine it is just me. Okay, I'm not that important. My wheelbase isn't that special, so on and so forth, right? So that's all I have to say about that. You know, I'm gonna reserve any other commentary about it for future updates, so that way I can still go in with an open mind, because the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this sucks, because it's a beautiful game that I am not going to take the time to play on controller anymore, because it's just, I'm not going to do anything with it on wheel, so like, what's the point? So anyway, we'll move on from that. So let's talk about Carx Drift. So I re-downloaded it, and a lot of my the drift tuning that I did, I just reverted, and it felt good to some degree. Like, I think they updated it a lot, because a lot of the horsepower seems to be more relevant to the upgrades that it did. Not that it tells you exactly what upgrades you did, but something I miss about Carx Drift that is not in Carx Street, I feel like, is the amount of detail in the settings. I feel like are gone, and maybe that's just because there's not enough sliders for the tuning settings or whatever, but that's my opinion. Like, it still feels like you're driving on ice skates. It is still super arcadey, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not as pretty as Carx Street for a million reasons. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I was hitting some kind of sharp reactions on my wheel when I was playing Carx Drift, but not nearly to the degree as Carx Street, which doesn't mean I'm going to be playing Carx Drift more, because I'm not. It was just kind of I wanted to do a direct comparison, and it's better for as far as like the wheel goes and as far as how that feels, but it's just not what I am looking for and not what this channel is about, I feel like. So we're going to move on from that. We're going to talk about the much more exciting news, which is Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Evo. So first things first, there was a big update today. I say big in quotations, for for Assetto Corsa Evo. And basically it was just some gameplay, and I'm not even confident that it was gameplay, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure it was just like a great cinematic trailer, and for that it absolutely was. The actual it was honestly just beautiful. It just, and I'll attach a link into the description so you guys can go watch it, just because I want that company to have the credit it deserves, and I'm not a big channel anyway, right? So it is what it is. We'll get there though, but I need you guys to help me make it happen. So I'm going to say some things that I hope are in Assetto Corsa Evo. I hope they looked at the modding community and saw just how diverse of a crowd that they are selling to, right? Because it's not just drifters, it's not just racers, it's not just rally competition. There's just a whole community around it that wants a lot of different things. So the number one thing there needs to be is modding support, whether that's being able to copy paste what we have now, and then, because it doesn't have anything to do with the graphics, right? I mean, some of it does, but like if there is just like a quick fix for the graphics, then that'll make modders' life a lot easier to try and figure that out. The second thing I want to see is overall support for every single different type of race, right? And it took a whole modding community to build a lot of the tracks that we have. It took the modding community to build a lot of the cars that we have, because there just wasn't enough in Assetto Corsa. Now, Assetto Corsa's base game is over 10 years old at this point, or maybe it is right on the nose. I'm not totally sure, but they gave us a sort of Assetto Corsa Competition, which is basically just GT3 cars, which is basically road cars modded to race, right? That's essentially what that is. There's a couple formula cars that are built into base game of Assetto Corsa, but I hope they don't go the direction of making a bunch of different, like essentially what Carx did, right? Because if you look on the mobile platform, Carx has a drifting mode, a street mode, a rally mode, and a race mode, I believe. If they don't, I'm sure it's in the pipeline. And I hope they don't do that. I hope they stick to kind of what Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, Gran Turismo, I hope they stick to what they did, where they built everything cohesively into the game. I hope that's the direction they took. I'm a little upset about the release that they had today for that video, because there's just no information. Like, it's just a very gorgeous cinematic with no details about what the game is actually going to be, right? We saw some old cars, some new cars, which was really cool. We saw some two-way traffic, which leads me to believe that they're paying attention to the modders somewhat, but I would really just like to see more, if I'm being totally honest. And, I really hope Assetto Corsa Evo becomes a one-stop shop for everything, because Assetto Corsa base game is so good that if there isn't at least modder support for us to be able to keep doing the things we want to do, nobody's going to play the game. They're going to buy it, they're going to explore it for an hour, and then they're going to, if what is not there that is needed, they're not going to play it. And it is that simple. So I really hope these things come to fruition. And yeah, so that's, I guess this was a big rant because I'm upset about the state of racing right now. There's a lot more to that I could go into, but I'd essentially just start becoming a broken record. I wish Forza had better software, so that way we can because I don't know if this is a me problem, but on Sim Magic, the Forza Motorsport, the newest version, you can set it up, but it just does weird things. Like it'll just suddenly jolt my wheel all the way to one direction, and I'm not sure why that happens, because it didn't happen on my Logitech, but it certainly happens on this, which is weird, but whatever. So I really hope I don't have to download any software, because Forza Horizon 6 is right around the corner and it looks amazing, and I really hope they don't do anything to prevent a whole player base from doing it, but I digress. So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. If you want to see more, I will start finding things to pick apart. But I really want to talk about the more enjoyable things. So let's hope there's some changes in the pipeline that come to fruition on Carx Street. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.